Okay, so it seems like there's been another kind of development in the whole HoYoverse voice actor fiasco. Now, obviously, I've talked about this quite a bit now. I think I've got about like 15 videos on this entire situation talking about every single voice actor over at Genshin Impact pretty much crashing out online, either stuff to do with these strikes, and pretty much everything in between. So if you guys want to go watch that, I have a whole playlist and a whole plethora of videos over on this channel talking about that situation. But this is actually a response from one of the voice actors, being the Keqing voice actor, who I actually talked about yesterday. She was doing even more stuff over online, which was just a little bit just weird. And I think a lot of this kind of pressure from, you know, me, from HeroHey, from a lot of other people as well who have also been covering the situation, has actually kind of like prompted her to make a response and reply. Because if you don't know what I said in my last video, I essentially said that a lot of this stuff would actually not be so bad if they were just to apologize to Jacob, if they were just to apologize for a lot of the stuff that they've been doing in the community recently. And, you know, a lot of people would accept that. And it seems like a day later, she's gone and done it. Now, obviously, there's this tweet here saying, to be honest, I've been advised against getting further involved in the situation at all, which again is kind of crazy seeing as, you know, they keep kind of like instigating a lot of stuff in the community anyways. But okay, I say, but I feel like this is the right thing to do. So here we are. First of all, I realized my criticism of Jacob should have never been public. Although I was far from the person to make a response, further involving fans was not necessary and only caused more strife, which is true. I feel like you can have your opinions about Jacob, you can have your opinions about, you know, the fact that he took the job of the old Keqing voice actor, but I think it is a little bit too far, especially when you're in a professional setting, to go ahead and attack them on Twitter publicly for everyone to see. I think you can have your own kind of premonitions in your mind, be like, I don't really like this guy, you know, he took the job, I don't like that, but, you know, I'm just gonna not really say much because, again, it's, you know, it's not the biggest of deals out there, and I don't really want to get other people involved as well. But obviously, she did the opposite of that and went very public with it. Obviously, she says, I also apologize for bringing up the public tweet I saw in passing about him purchasing at home. It was wrong of me to use that as an argument that he didn't need this one job to make ends meet. I was frustrated trying to explain a point, and honestly, none of that is any of my business, which is very, very true. This is one of the big issues that I had with Kayli Mills. It's one of the big issues that I had with her kind of getting involved in the situation in general, was the fact that she went so personal with it, was the fact that she looked into a lot of his personal life and what he was up to. It was weird, like very weird. Obviously, I wouldn't have really paid attention to it if that didn't actually happen in the first place, but yeah, it did happen. Obviously, yeah, she was talking about his personal life, his family, his job, his house. It's just like, okay, do we really need to be doing this? Like, we can, you know, say that, you know, you don't like him because he's a scab or whatever, but going into his personal life and saying, oh, he doesn't need the job anyways, it's just like, brother, what? And also, like, a lot of the comments as well saying that, hey, oh, he doesn't need a job because he just bought a house. That's pretty much like the time when you need a job the most, I'm pretty sure, to keep a lot of things going, to fix any kind of things that you may come up after you bought the house, etc., to kind of keep things going, paying for moving things. Again, there's so many payments involved in that. You probably need the job more, actually, if you are moving house. Now, yeah, they say I don't want to be, and it didn't matter to the point I was trying to make at all. I did send him a message privately on April 2nd, which is 20 days ago, to apologize about getting the public further involved and explained why we were upset. But it doesn't change the fact that she still kept on going about it later on, as we saw in the previous video. Very weird. And explain why we're upset. Also that, at least personally, there were no feelings of hatred or any hopes of ill will. Personally or professionally, I do not know him, but I thought about what I would do if a friend or close colleague did something I found hurtful in our community, and I would have indeed not responded publicly. I would have confronted them directly. So again, it seems like they have kind of thought about that a little bit more. Again, if you want to say something to him privately, then sure. But again, I feel like it's not going to change much. You know, he's still taking the job. He still knows what kind of repercussions that's going to have. But again, yeah, it's weird how this apology has taken so long as well. Obviously, it's April 21st. This came out. And, you know, how long has it been since the drama first unfolded? And since she first started being a little bit weird about it? It was like almost a month ago, which is kind of crazy. That's a very long time to actually apologize for it. They're saying that, you know, they've been advised against further getting involved. An apology isn't getting further involved. An apology is an apology. Let's be real. They say, although I originally had a much longer statement and I'm interested in clearing up some of the misinformation I see about the refusal of work versus the official SAG-AFTRA strikes, I don't want to further involve any specific actor the overall situation is so much bigger and more nuanced than this, and I hope in the future we can have a better conversation. In the meantime, I'm doing the work behind the scenes to try and support my community the best I can. So again, that's the full response there from Kayli Mills, the voice actor of Keqing. Now, I think it's an alright kind of response, but the thing is, it's just taken so long, and the kind of damage that she's done already and what she's done, you know, to this guy in terms of, like, you know, looking up his personal life and everything like that. And also, it's a very common thing we see at the end of this reply here, obviously saying that, hey, I want to explain more about the misinformation with the SAG-AFTRA strikes, but I'm not gonna. You know, that seems to be a very common thing with the Genshin Impact voice actors, you know? It's like, oh, well, I could, but I don't want to. But I'm not gonna right now. I don't want to further involve anyone. It's just like, brother, explain it or don't explain it. Like, let's be real. You can't just say, oh, but there is something, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. I don't want to involve anyone any further, so I'm not gonna tell you. Like, whereas you got people like Joe who are actually like giving us the truths, and that was actually an honestly really good video, you know. And I respect people like that way more because, you know, he's actually kind of given us a little bit of information for us to know instead of going, oh, well, I could tell you, but I'm not gonna, I won't. Actually, no, I don't want to anymore because I don't want to involve anyone. It's just like, oh my God, bro. Obviously, Tectone replied to this saying, that's going to be a yikes from me, dog. It's an AI version of him and Paimon, which is kind of crazy. Mujin says this is a right step in the direction other VAs who lashed out publicly and professionally should follow. Exactly. That is true as well. Obviously, a lot of the other voice actors out there, for example, Karina, who has probably been the worst kind of person for this out of all of them, still has not kind of apologized for any of this kind of stuff, and I doubt they will. You know, I doubt they will. I'm not expecting a apology from them. I think they are that stupid that they honestly wouldn't even be able to form an apology in a kind of sense. So again, I feel like this is a very kind of silly situation. I feel like, yeah, Karina definitely needs to follow in the footsteps of Kayli, and that is something that needs to be done for a lot of the voice actors as well. They also need to follow in the footsteps and just kind of apologize for what they've done and, you know, work towards not doing any of this in the future, because it does harm their reputation massively. People do not like them anymore. You know, people were attacking, obviously, Kayli on the live stream for Nikkei the other day. It follows them outside of Genshin Impact. People were saying this is going to be a Genshin Impact only thing. They might get kicked out maybe, and that's it. The Genshin Impact community are going to hate them, but once they get out of it, they're going to be fine. That's not the case, because as we saw with the Nikkei livestream, they were all spamming L, replace the voice actor for Rappi, who Kayli voices, and, you know, it shows that, you know, this does go beyond just the Genshin Impact community, and I feel like that's one of the reasons as well why she's responded to this situation, is due to the fact that she's realized, oh, this backlash goes outside of Genshin too. This goes, you know, beyond it. Which, again, is kind of crazy. I feel like that is one of the factors. Obviously, this person called Nick saying, we all know the facts behind the strike now. You don't need to keep lying about it. Exactly. It just sounds like a bit of a, broken record, I'd say, saying there's so much misinformation, not explaining it, and essentially this is something that they do on every single post. We are all in agreement that AI protections are a must, but you guys have them already with HoYoverse. There's never been any reasons to refuse you to do work, which, again, yeah. It's yes, I feel like it's a fair response, to be fair. If you're truly sorry about what you did with Jacob, good on you, but that isn't going to change what you and others already did. There is barely enough accountability through this post alone, though, and an apology isn't going to cut it, because who's to believe that you actually mean it? What you all did was and still is disgusting, and you should be forever ashamed for treating this VA, which I think is fair enough. I think that's a fair enough response, because obviously people are, yeah, like, they're still not happy with a lot of the actions that Kayli took back then, and I definitely do agree. You know, it was absolutely horrible to go into someone's personal life like that and to actually kind of pick them apart when, you know, they just took a job. You know, I'm sure that she would like it personally if that was to happen to her as well. But again, you know, they don't think about that kind of stuff. They don't think about this stuff, and they just go ahead and blindly attack. And yeah, it is good that they have issued an apology, as I said. But I do think that, you know, there maybe could have been something a little bit more here. I feel like, you know, a lot of the damage has already been done, and it's been a little bit too late in terms of the apology as well. I reckon this apology would have been much more accepted if they did it literally, you know, a couple days after the original situation had happened, almost a month ago. But the fact that it's taken this long to kind of do this, and taken this long to address this situation, just kind of proves where their headspace is at whenever it comes to this, and how much they actually care about the situation in general. Because I'm gonna be honest, I think that she just kind of posted this apology and just went, okay, I'm gonna carry on with my day now. Hopefully they forgive me, you know. And I feel like this, yeah, again, is probably a product of a lot of things that have been happening recently. Obviously, a lot of the videos on YouTube coming out, obviously a lot of the comments over on the Nikkei live stream, and all of this is all coming kind of culminating, into one thing. And obviously, yeah, it's kind of blown up in her face. And hopefully the same happens with Karina as well. If she is to take any other jobs, I feel like, you know, people should definitely hold her accountable in all kind of aspects of her voice acting career, and, you know, anyone's voice acting career really, if they do this kind of stuff, because again, it transcends beyond the Genshin Impact community. And hopefully this kind of serves as a little bit of a lesson to some of the other voice actors who have also been getting involved and just kind of crashing out online. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this response. Do you think that it's a good one? Do you think it's a bad one? What do you think about Kayli Mills now? And again, I'm very interested to see what you guys think. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.